All right, good evening, and I hope we had a wonderful session in the morning. Right, so yesterday we discussed how to navigate through the MT4. We're supposed to do that on both the phone and the laptop. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to navigate the MT4 on the laptop, and I'll be doing a bit of that before explaining another concept of support and resistance to us. Right, so if you are serious about Forex and you want to make not just Forex trading generally, and you want to make reasonable amount of money from trading, you have to equip yourself with necessary gadgets. It's like somebody going to the farm with just a cutlass. Yes, it's a farming instrument, but the person will have a hell of a time trying to build or raise ridges or heaps if he wants to plant cassava or yam, right? Meanwhile, a hoe might not be the appropriate tool if the person wants to go and fell a tree, right? Or some other thing like that. So at some point in your career, you need to invest in a laptop, or not necessarily a laptop. We use laptop because it's more handy. Today I traded for about 7 hours and I didn't come to my seat at all. In fact, when we had this session this morning at about 11, all that session held on my bed. So I didn't stand up until this late evening from the bed. I was there from morning, right? That was because I was using a laptop. So you could also invest in a desktop if you wish to, right? I have more than one laptop. I have two. Should anything happen to one while I'm fixing it, I need to be able to secure my source of income, right? Now, besides that, another reason why you should invest in a laptop is that if I put up the screen of a phone, look at how small it is, right? The worst you can do, or the best you can do, is turn your phone diagonally, and then it gives you can see more bars. And when I mean bars, I mean the candlestick bars, right? But the laptop helps you to have a holistic view of the market, right? You can see on the 15 minutes time frame, I can see as far back as 17th of April till date. And if I go to the 4-hour time frame, I can see as far back as December 2019, right? You can see the date underneath the screen there, right here, December 2019, I can see. So I'm able to make some decisions based on what price has done in the past. Remember that for now, we are not trading fundamentals, we are trading technicals. And by technicals, I mean that we are using what price has done before to predict what price will do now, right? So the laptop gives you that luxury. Now, when it comes to tools, when you go to your phone, you have just a couple of tools, some moving averages, some, sorry, let me take this out, some moving averages, one or two functions on your phone is not as robust as the laptop, right? On the laptop, you have several other functions. For instance, the combo indicator that we're trying to see if you can buy to fasten your process of making profits cannot be used on the phone. The phone, the MT4 of the mobile MT4 is not wired to take that, whereas the laptop allows you to have more, right? So all of this you see here are indicators. I have indicators. Some of them are even, what will I call it? They are customized indicators. right? Designed and produced by somebody else. Somebody sat down, thought about what he wants, and decided to form an indicator, write a code. And now I'm applying that code based on the person's knowledge on my laptop, using that to make decisions, right? So like the harmonic scan is one indicator. For instance, your phone can never, at least for now, or let me not say can never, it doesn't have that ability to give you the harmonic scan indicator, whereas the laptop has the ability to give you that indicator, right? So you have both custom made indicators, and you have um, the normal indicators that come with your phone. You have them on your laptop. So it's only normal to want to trade with your laptop because of the advantages that it gives to you, right? So I'm going to take us briefly before we continue support and resistance. We've done most of the work on support and resistance. There's just one more support and resistance I want to show us, or rather two more. There are several others, but I'm just showing you the ones I feel we will need as we go into the strategies we want to trade with. I wouldn't have to bore you with so many forms of support and resistance, right? So when you open your laptop here, the first button here is File. This is where you can open an account. Say I want to open a fresh account. I just click on Open an Account, as you can see, right? And I can choose a broker. By default, this MT4 by default belongs to the MT4 by default belongs to a different broker, Hugo's Way. So say I want to open an account with Hugo's Way, or I want to open an account with another broker, let's say Forex Time, FXTM, or Infinox. If I can't find the name here, I simply just search. So let's say I want to open with Infinox. I just do Infinox, right? And I scan. It will bring out all the Infinox for me, right? It will bring out the type of accounts that I can open with Infinox. It brings it out for me. Then I now find a way of opening. However, there are some brokers that will not allow you open an account on the MT4 without first going to their website. They need you to go to the website first and then open an account. And I think Infinox is one of them. For the purpose of this presentation, I'll open one account with Forex Time or Hot Forex for us here, right? So go to File, go to Open an Account, right? We look for, let's say, Forex Time, sent demo, or anything you want to open. I click on it and I go to Next. It's going to ask me, am I opening a new demo account or a new real account? I say I'm opening a new demo account. Then it will ask me what is my name, what is my email, what is my phone number, right? So you have to put your phone number there. Let's say 08075252864, something like that. Sorry. Something like that, right? You choose what you want. What is the initial deposit you want to use? Not most brokers will give you an average of between 3 to 500,000. You pick the one you want, then you use your leverage. I know we've discussed leverage before. You simply pick your leverage you want, 1:1, 1:10, or the likes. You click I agree to subscribe to your newsletters, and you next, and voila, you automatically have um, your account number open. And for one reason or the other, it's not working here today. Let's see. Let me see if I can find another. Let's try, maybe because it's almost close to the end of business. Right. So that's how you open an account, basically, right? So now, if you have done that, you have your account open. The next thing you might want to do is play around with the indicator. So I'll just take you through what each of these ones do, right? So here you have your account. You can open your account and other things. Open data folder, that might be too advanced for you for now, right? So in your view, of course, if you want to see, here you have market watch, data window, navigator, terminal, and fortunately, some of these items here are already on your second row, right? So if I want to, the first one here is create new chart. If I want to create a new chart of, let's say I want to create a new chart of USD CHF, I just click USD CHF and it opens a new chart for me with USD CHF right away, right? Exactly that. So if I want to, that's what this one stands for, opening of a new chart, right? Now, this other one for profiles, that might be too advanced for you for now. Let's leave that. This is used, this is market watch. This way you can see all the pairs that that particular broker offers, right? You can see the pairs there. So we have crude oil, we have VIX, we have the indices, we have gold, silver, we have the currencies, both the exotic, the cross pairs and the major pairs, you have them there. So if I want to, if for example, if I have USD CHF here and I don't want USD CHF again, I want Euro AUD, I just click on Euro AUD and drag it into this window. Just drag it into that window. Look up here, you can see that the currency has changed to Euro AUD. Say I want US 30, I just click on it and drag it into the window and everything changes to US 30. If I want NU, click on it and drag it into the window and bam, I have NU there, right? So that's how you use your market watch, right? The next one is your data window. For now, you might not need it for now, right? The next one is the navigator. In this navigator, this is where you have all your custom-based indicators, including the ones that you yourself, the ones that comes with the MT4. These ones come with the MT4. Here you have trend, Bollinger Band, some other things. You have them there, just the way you have on your phone, right? It's just that this time, some of them are more complex than the one you have on your phone, right? If you remember when we had the 1 week free class, we were able to add 2 moving averages to our chart, right? So we'll do an example for laptop again, how you could have done that, right? So there are 2 ways you could have done that. It's either you come to insert and look for indicators up here, insert, then indicators, you look for what you want, or you simply click on this button, that is your navigator, and come to the type of indicator you want. Say I want moving average, I just click on the moving average. I put in the parameters, the period, the MA method, they apply to the style, the color, and everything I want, and I just click on OK, and that moving average simply does what? Appears, right? If I want to use, maybe I want to use oscillators, whatever oscillator I want to use, I can pick them. Say I want to use Williams percentage range. I look for what I want and I click OK, and the Williams percentage range appears underneath there, right? If I double click on it, it brings it up again for me to change whatever I want to change. Very, very sweet. Unlike your phone, that is a little bit, could be somehow, cumbersome, right? If I need anything that has to do with volumes, this you will learn later on. But I'm just showing you how you can navigate. Now, Mr. Kunle told us yesterday that when we buy a phone, right, we don't need anybody to tell us where we can locate something. We play with the phone until we are able to discover many things about it. And sometimes 2 years after, you are still discovering, right? So you have an MT4 on your phone, you have on your laptop. what you have is a demo account. Nobody's going to shout on us for playing around. Just play around all of these things. Play around, see what they do, right? They might come in handy at one time or the other. So that's for inserts. Here we have charts, of course. If I want some of these things on the charts here, right, are already here. They're already here. So insert has indicators and the like. Most of those things, apart from file and view, right? Under view, you have market watch, data window, navigator. They're already here. They are here. Some of them are there. Then under insert, you have your indicators. They're already in market navigator here. Under charts, you can change this to candlesticks. Presently in this particular class, we are using the Japanese candlesticks, but we can change them to some other things, right? Let me take out this moving average for now. Take out the moving average. You just go to moving average, right? Click on it and click on delete, and it goes, right? If I don't want to use these bars and I prefer something else, under charts, I can see what to use. But those things are also here, right? So I can change this to this kind of bars. I can change it to line. Say I want to see just lines instead of the up and down bars, right? I can use these arrows here to contrast, right? Zoom in and zoom out as the case may be. If I have more than one window, say I have two, like I have several windows, look down, you can say I have Euro NZD, I have USD. These are several windows I have here. I can simply just click, right? I can simply just click on this button here, and it arranges all the windows for me here to be able to see all at once. You cannot do this with your phone. So say I have 3 trades I'm trading at the same time, and I want to see them at the same time. I can simply see them at the same time by using this function, right? If I use that function, I can see my 3 or 4 trades at the same time. I just want to give us an example, right? So I can see my 3 or 4 trades at the same time and monitor what is happening to them. All I need to do is by the click of this button, I am seeing all my trades at the same time, and I'm monitoring what is happening to them. If I want to monitor just 2, I can do that. I can drag this. You can see that this makes your work easy, right? It makes your work far more easier than laptop. So if I have 2 trades, here I have Euro GBP, 30 minutes. If I want to be monitoring it on the higher time frame, I can monitor it on the higher time frame right about here. I can do that. If I have 2 pairs that I'm trading and I want to monitor them simultaneously, say I'm trading USD card, I can move this here, and now I have USD card on one chart and Euro GBP on the second card chart, right? I can monitor both trades simultaneously, and I don't have to move from one window to the other like you would do on your phone, right? So this is just to make you see how sweet it is to trade with your phone, with your laptop. And there are several other things you can do with this, right? You can have several indicators put together all there on your laptop, right? So now we're going to go into something else. How do we use some of the tools on the laptop, right? So say you want to, we've discussed, sorry, let me come here. We've discussed the diagonal support and resistance. Here you have the tools you can use, right? So I can come here, just click on it. Now you notice that immediately I click, you can see a crosshair, something that looks like a cross, like a star or like a plus sign, right? Wherever it touches, that is where the line will start from. So I can do this, right? I can do this, right? That's how you draw with this, right? I can as well do this, right? All these, you need to just play with the tools to play around with them. If you don't want anything, you just double click on it and click on delete, it disappears. Double click on it and click on delete, or you right click on it and click on delete, whichever one, and it disappears, right? That's how you do that. You want to use draw a rectangle like I taught us. You can do this, right? Just draw your rectangle. If you don't want the rectangle to be thick like this, you want it to be hollow, you come to the, just right click, double click on it, on that rectangle, until you bring out some boxes, you know, at the edges. Then you right click on it, it brings out rectangle properties. You click on it and remove this draw object as background, just remove it and okay. And now you see, you can see it as a transparent, that you can change the parameters, you can change the color here, right? There are two ways you can change the color. Just click on the color you want. Like if I want blue, I just click on blue. Or if I don't want it, if I don't want to do that, I can just type in the color I want, white, and it automatically change to the color I just typed. If I want red, I just type in red and it changes to the color. I click on the radio, the drop down button, and pick the color I want, magenta, and it changes to that color instantly. You can see how sweet and easy this is compared to a phone, right? There are many things you can do with this. Now, on your phone, when you draw your rectangle like this, it shows on every time frame, and sometimes it can be disturbing. So let's say I have a rectangle here on the, let me give you an example of what I mean. Let me give you an example of what I mean. If I add an indicator now, let's say I add an indicator that you might not know how to use, of course. Let's say I add this indicator. Let's say I add, sorry, I can't find the indicator I need to use here. Okay, very good. Let's say I add this indicator here, right? And I go to the 15 minutes. You notice there are some lines on my screen, right? If I go to the 1 hour, they are there. And say I don't like the way they are appearing here, and I don't want them to appear. I just simply right click on that and double click on that indicator. Come here and say, I don't want you on all the time frames. I want you on only some of the time frame. Let's say I want you on only 15 minutes. And when I go to 30 minutes, anything after that, I don't want to see you, right? So you can see I'm on 1 hour, it has disappeared. I'm back on 15 minutes and that indicator is there, right? I'm on 30 minutes, that line is there. And I go to 4 hours, it disappears. Say I draw a rectangle, right? And I don't want to, I want to see it only on 4 hours and or higher time frame, or I want to see it on 4 hours and below. I don't want to see it on the daily higher time frame. I just right click on it again, go to the visualization. All indicators have visualization. Say, instead of showing all time frames, say no, I want to see on only 4 hours and the higher time frame, or I don't want to see on the higher time frame, whichever one, I click on it. So it's showing on 4 hours. If I go to daily, it is there. But if I go to 30 minutes, you can't find it there, right? So it's very, very nice for you to have a laptop. You can plan what you want to do. You can plan what you want to see with your laptop, and you walk along with it, right? So this is part of the things that you need a laptop for. So tonight we'll move on to the next, and I believe I've been able to show you the basic things there, right? Of course, you have your time frame, just like you have your time frame on your phone. You have a time frame on the laptop, and most things in the laptop, you have two ways of getting them. You can come to the time, what looks like a clock here, and you can have it just here: 1 minute, 5, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hours, daily, weekly, monthly. These are time frame. Each of these candle is 1 month. Each of this is 1 month. You can see that with this, we can see as far back as, look at the time here, the date here, 1st of January 1999. Your phone will not give you that. 1st of January 1999. Your phone will not give you that. And this is even more complex. There are more complex things you can do that is beyond this class, right? But I'm just saying this so that you know that you actually need to invest in a laptop later on, even if you are using your phone for now, right? So last thing I'm going to show us is that when you right click on your screen, anywhere on your screen, just right click, you can go down. The last thing here is properties. The last thing here is properties, or you can access it by simply pressing the F8 button. Once you click on it, it brings you to this place where you can change the color. So you can see my bear candles are red and my bullish candles are green, right? I can change that. There are some color schemes that are already by default, right? If I say yellow on black, notice this screen inside this window. The screen, this black screen inside the window open. If I say yellow on black, it changes to yellow on black, right? If I say green on black, it changes to green on black. If I say white on black, it changes to white on black, right? It does anything I want it to do. So if I want a custom made one, then I can come here and say, look, I want my background to be blue, right? And I want my foreground to be black, something like that. I want my grid to be something else. Just go play along with them. I want my up candles to be white. And I want my bar down, my down candles to be black. I want my bull candles to be white. I want my bear candles to be black, right? I can do all this and say, okay, and everything changes to whatever I want. I decide what I want on my chart, right? And I can, if I've done this, I can save it. I can save this template like this as, okay, this is what I want. I can come here and just quickly say save template and save it as let's save it as class. So I'm saving this as class. So anytime I come, I can, and I want class, I'll see. So now I have the template I clicked before was plain, which was this. If I want to go back to class, I just look for class and click on it, and I'm back here. You can't just do without a laptop, right? So I'll have to stop here, because if we continue, we'll just spend the whole day. You can do so many things. You can write text, right? You can write text here, which you might find difficult doing on your phone. You can write a text, right? And several other things. You can have a check sign. You can have up and down arrow, thumbs down, thumbs up. You can do so many things. If I want to know, if I want to put something else, okay, anytime price comes here, remind me, I can just come here and put something like this, and it tells me the price at that particular place, you know, and I can do whatever I want to do. So there are many things you can do with your laptop. Now let's proceed to the next thing we have for today. So, right, we've been able to discuss.
Hello, Bishop.
Yeah. I can hear you, sir.
Well, can I just say one thing?
Go ahead, sir. Go
Can
ahead.
I just say one thing?
Go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to just make a comment.
Okay.
Because perhaps for the maybe one or two people that have attended all the courses,
Yes.
we appreciate what you have just gone through here.
Okay.
I wanted to say that in 2018, when I attended a program where someone was going to teach me just what you have done right now.
Yes.
And we paid, I think, $150. We pay $150, every one of us pay $150 to attend a one-day program. Just what you have just done here is what was done for us, just to be able to navigate using our laptop.
Mm.
And I just wanted everyone to understand that what you have just seen, it's, even for me, standing here, I was just amazed that this is what I pay $150 for. Someone to teach me how to do this. So it is a quality training that you are hearing, right? Maybe when the video comes out, you might not catch everything as it's touching them, but when the video comes out, you will begin to understand those things.
Yes.
If I were you, that video, I must save it somewhere. I must save it somewhere. This is $150 you are seeing here. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. And I appreciate the fact that I know that while going through it, I was fast. But I mentioned in the afternoon, or rather in the morning session, that what we're doing today and the way we crammed in so many things into today is deliberate, because you have 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, to go through the things that we've discussed. And that is the longest time you have for review. By next week, Friday, we'll be done with this class, right? And just like Mr. Kunle said, you can always watch this video. You are the only ones that have the link to that video. We are not giving it out, right? And you will find all of these things I've said handy. I was in Forex for over 15 months to 16 months before I could navigate some of these things. In fact, I wasn't using my laptop to trade. I was using my phone, right? But when I knew I needed to go big, then I had to start using my laptop. So we'll take it at that. Yes. Thank you so much. So let's move on. Somebody's asking me, how do I add rectangle to my toolbar? Because I don't have the icon on my toolbar. You can see somebody's asking now. I know usually the normal toolbar does not have this rectangle. The toolbar you can see on my screen doesn't have it. But because I use rectangles a lot, just like we talked today, I use zones a lot. So instead of going to insert and now go to shapes and start looking for rectangle every time, just right click on this, where these icons are, just right click on it. It will go take you to this. You just click customize. You pick the ones you want. Like initially rectangle was in there. You pick the ones you want and you put them. For example, now we don't have triangle up there. If I want triangle to be showing most of the time, I just click on it and I have my triangle up there, right? But I don't use triangle, so no problem. That's how you can't just do, at some point in time, you just have to use a laptop, right? And those of you going for our combo, you will appreciate it. And I don't want to use the word guarantee, but within a short time, you have enough money to buy more than 5 laptops, right? So laptop is not going to be the issue for you. So let's proceed with what we have today. Right, continuation of what we said in the morning. Right, so I said I was going to teach us how to draw those things, right? How to draw a trend line. Do we just pull a line on our screen and say we have drawn a trend line? Do we just pull a line? What do we want to see before we say a trend line is actually a trend line? Remember, we explained trend line as another way of finding support and resistance, right? Chijoke, you raised up your hand. Any question?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, my brother.
Please, I want to confirm, because those of us that are preparing to get the laptop after the lockdown, I hope it won't disturb our learning.
No,
now.
No, it won't. It won't
Okay,
disturb
sir.
your learning. Now, you also have to know that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you also have to know that this team has been magnanimous enough to have this recorded. I've been to some webinars where if I want to get a recording, I pay again. You are expected to be taking notes in class. If you now want to have the recording after, you have to pay again. But we're giving it to you for free. And of course, I'll still do some things on laptop, on phone, right? So let's talk about how to draw a trend line. If you want to draw a trend line, you should have at least 2 touches. At least 2 touches to that line. The more touches you have to the line, the more defined and the more strong the trend line is. So I can draw a trend line like this, right? I have 1 touch, 2 touch, and this is the 3rd one, right? Fine. You know, but this is what most Forex teachers teach you. But Rich Vision is not most Forex teachers. We are unique. We are unique in the sense that there is no point drawing a trend line on candles that have already formed. Which money will it give you? Candles that are formed, how are you going to make money from it? You can't make money from the past. You make money from the candles that are yet to be formed, right? So how do you draw a trend line then? If you want to draw a trend line, I'm going to assume that everything here, I'm going to assume that everything here doesn't exist. Sorry. I'm going to assume that everything here doesn't exist. There's something I needed to do and it's not giving me what I wanted. All right, so I'm going to assume that everything in this box doesn't exist. What I have is just this. I just have the this ones, right? So drawing a trend line, you pick your trend line. You won't know that a trend line is forming until you start seeing this move up. In real life, once these candles are forming, then you see a push up, then you see a push down, then you see a push up. It's like something is forming. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a trend here. So you draw your line based on this one, then you extend it to the future, just based on these three, right? What you want to do is find a way to ensure that it touches at least 3 points or two, at most two, at least two, right? So you can see I drew it from here. I can as well draw it from here, right? I can even draw it from here, but it's not touching. I want it to touch at least three. So I play with it so that I can touch three. If it touches only two, fine. But I want it to touch like three, right? You can see. Now there are some other persons who is okay to get it clearly, turn this thing to a line chart, then put it on the body of the lines, the line chart, right? You can see that. Notice that in this case, I'm touching the top, and on this particular one, I'm touching the bottom, right? Here, I'm touching the bottom, here, top. The point is that there are some touches, right? There are some touches. So here, when it was coming down, it served as a what? As a floor, a support. Then it broke it. It came back, served as a resistance. Remember those terminologies. When it was coming, it bounced off here as a support. When it broke it, it came back and served as a resistance. Now I can go back to my normal candlesticks. I can go back to my normal candlesticks, and you can see I have this. Now, people who use the lines, they tell you that the lines are more accurate because you can easily take your profit off this horizontal, these diagonal lines now, right? Whereas if you have shifted it to the top like this, then there's tendency that price might not touch it before it bounces back. But if it is like this, then you have the tendency of price touching it. Remember when we drew the zone, we gave one example of why the zone is more preferable by most traders, because you know that you're taking your profits or you're taking your decision to take a trade within an area. Now, so we are only considering this 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, right? The vertical boxes here. So we have the next one, which is this, right? Let me just do this. Delete this. Then I can copy this. To copy, after double clicking on it, just press Control and drag. Press Control and drag. You have that, right? So now I want to draw the second one. Now I want you to see the problem most people will have. Now, because there is a wick to the downside here, people will be tempted to want to draw this thing like this, right? That is the way you may draw it the very first time. Because remember, you might not have seen this particular box. You might not have seen this box yet. So this is what you would draw at first, right? As okay, I'm seeing a bounce, I'm moving. Then you saw this. When you saw this particular spot here, point X here, you saw point X, and point X seems to be tallying with something. Then you now move this way. Right? It doesn't have to be horizontal. That it doesn't have to be a parallel. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be parallel. It doesn't have to be parallel at all. You just want to have at least 2 touches. Now, so this one will play as a fake out. As a fake out. So you see, when you have this, you can now extend this to the future and also extend this to the future. Now that is how you draw your trend line. This is the professional way of drawing your trend line, not what you see in most classes. They just draw the trend line for you. In real life, you've not seen everything in this box. You've not seen it. You've only seen these ones. So now you are now willing to take a buy from this trend when you see certain things. You're now willing to take a sell from the opposite side of the trend line when you see certain things happening, right? This is not the time to discuss what will you see before taking a trade. But at least if you followed me in the morning, you discovered that you had one engulfing candle, right? You have a candle that went bigger than this smaller one. That shows you that people are buying from here. Then you can buy from the second candle and take it up to the top. Here too, you saw this down candle. You saw one bullish candle, one big candle that engulfed this small one. This tells you that people are buying and you follow it along with it, right? So I've just showed you how to draw a trend line, and I want you to draw trend lines on your laptop, on your phone, and send screenshots to our WhatsApp, so we'll see if you've caught what we've passed across. It's very important how to draw this, because there are some trades that you take based on this particular thing. We're still discussing support and resistance. The one at the top is called the resistance. The one beneath is called the support. Now, some people asked me some questions when we finished the class. They chatted me to ask, okay, how will I pick my zones? And remember, I told you that if you are picking your zones, I want you to pick your zones on a higher time frame, right? You pick your zones on a higher time frame, and you come to the lower time frame to execute your trade. You pick your zones on a higher time frame, and you come to the lower time frame to execute your trade. That is how you draw your zones. When you want to draw a zone, I'm looking for a very good example. So here we have one, right? This bullish candle went up. You can see this bullish candle went up. You pick the wick of the bearish candle to the wick of the bearish candle, and you drag it to, right? Now you have a zone. When price comes back to this zone, you are looking for opportunity to buy. When price comes back to this zone, you're looking for opportunity to buy, right? You cover it up with the wick of the bearish candle. When price comes back, you are buying. When price comes back, you are buying. When price, you continue like that until price breaks through it, right? When price breaks through it, then now you're a seller. When price comes back to it, you sell. When price comes back to it, you sell. You lose this trade. Now you're a buyer. When price comes back to it, you buy. When price comes back to it, you buy. Price broke through it. Now you're a seller. When price comes back to it, you sell, right? So this is just a simple way of drawing out your zones. But one thing you must know is that the zones does not continue forever. Remember when we're discussing support and resistance, and we're looking at if you have a house, if you remember in the morning, we say that zones can shift, right? If formerly it was bouncing within the box with the X, then your support, your former resistance can now become a support when the action moves now to the next zone, right? You simply just discard the lower zone and begin to use the upper zone for whatever you want to do, right? So that is that. Now, the next thing I want to discuss with us are dynamic support and resistance. They are still support and resistance, but they are dynamic. They are dynamic. Yeah, Solomon Jeremiah, please ask your question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, brother.
Please, I want to ask, how can we draw trend lines on our phone?
Okay, how can you draw trend line on your phone? Okay, I'll do that now. Let me log on with my phone and we'll do just that. Just give me a minute. I need to log on my phone. Then we'll do that. That's true. I was supposed to do that too. Just a minute. 925-2030-1231. I'm joining with my phone now. Then we'll look at how to draw trend lines using the phone. So we've discussed trend lines, we've discussed horizontal. Let's look for an example while my phone loads up. Let's look for an example of horizontal support and resistance. So let's say we'll go to the 1 hour. Right. We go to the 1 hour. I'm not finding one that we can use directly. Okay, you can say this is a rough example of a horizontal one, right? Floor, ceiling, floor, ceiling, floor, like that until it breaks. And remember, when a ceiling breaks, when price breaks through the ceiling, then the ceiling becomes the floor, right? You want to buy from then hence. So I'll share from my phone now, and we'll go and check how to do that. So I'm sharing from my phone. Just a minute. Can you see my screen right about now? So auto rotate. So now I have my phone on, and the second bar there is the chart, right? And I want to draw my lines. You just go to the function button, or rather, just click on this, click on the face of your phone. Just click on the face of your phone. Once you do that, you will see an icon that looks like a rectangle, a circle, and a triangle all together, right? You click on it. Once you click on it, you can see I have 3 trend lines there. See, I don't want them again. I just click on delete, and I pick on the ones I don't want, and I simply delete them and they disappear, right? I want to draw a trend line now. Let's go to a different currency pair. So let's say I pick on Euro USD. I haven't added Euro USD here, so I simply just go Forex and add them all up. Okay, very good. So go to Forex. Very good. So right now I'm going to Euro USD. So I open Euro USD, open the chart of Euro USD. Right, so I want to draw something that looks like a trend line on Euro USD. So see what I'm going to do. Touch on the face of my screen. It brings out that interface. I click on it, and now I have everything I can draw. I can draw a vertical line, horizontal line. I can draw a trend line. I can draw circle lines, arrow line. I can draw channels. I can draw some gangs and Fibonacci, Elliott waves. Now I have my shapes beneath. So let's say I want to draw a trend line. I just click on a trend line. Once you click on the trend line, it takes you back to the chart. Now, you put your finger on the beginning of the trend line, right? If you can see the up part of my screen, look at the top right corner. Inside the chart, not the blue top. Inside the chart, you can see something that looks like a small blue line at the top of my screen. That shows that it's trend line that I chose. So when I click on this point like this, you can see an interface. You can see a small rectangle and square, and you can see a dot. That dot is showing where my finger is. And when I pull it, right? When I pull it, let me do that again. I pick a trend line, click on it and pull, right? You see that? That's my trend line. It has 2 dots. If I want to amend it, I just go back to the dot and amend as appropriate, right? But it's pretty less efficient compared. You need to do a lot of maneuvering to get it right with your phone, right? If I want to draw, and once I'm done, I'm done. If I want to draw a channel, say I want to draw that channel I taught us, you just click on it, click on that same box, click on the plus sign up there, and scroll to the bottom. I'll see rectangle. I'll click on the rectangle, and now I can put my finger and pull and drag it to wherever I want. Now I have my rectangle on my screen, right? If I want to modify the rectangle, I just click on the rectangle, and I can come here and change the color to blue. If I want it to be thicker, I change the pixel to 4, right? If I want to even give the rectangle a name, I can come up here and change the name. I can say this is a bullish block and type it there. Bullish block EU, standing for Euro USD. And I can say done, right? Now the color has changed to blue, right? So next time, if I feel I'm done with this one, so now what are we waiting for? When price comes back into this box, we are looking for reasons to want to buy, assuming that's what I'm doing. Now, maybe this box, I'm now done with this box. I don't need it again. That is why you need to give it a name, because if I click on this thing back again, it just gives me, look at these trend lines now. How will you know if which trend line this is? I give you an example of what I mean. Let's go back to, if I want to change the currency, I just click on that dollar sign and I choose AUD USD. And after choosing AUD USD, I click on my screen again. I click on those 3 icons and I click on the plus and I choose trend line and I draw a trend line. Now I've drawn the trend line. If I go back to these 3 buttons again, how will I differentiate which trend line is meant for which currency? I won't know, because now I have some trend lines on EU, I have some trend line on AU, which is which. So it's always good to give it a name. If I want to delete the bullish block in EU, now I can just click on delete and go straight to the bullish block in EU and delete that one and still leave other things in my chart intact. Now, if I go back to EU, which is Euro USD, I won't see that bullish block again because it has been deleted. I don't know if I've answered your question on how to draw. Right, so now you can notice that my phone, by the time if I want to see the candles bigger, I use my hand and I widen it the way I will magnify a picture on my phone or my phone. If I want to see less of it, I contrast it back down, right? Now, so you can see that it becomes difficult to want to follow with to want to monitor several things on your phone, because the interface, the number of bars you can see per time is small, except of course you want to go to settings. You want to go to settings and change this. I think there's a place where we can change this to show as to show some phones can do it automatically, where you just turn your phone and then it changes automatically like this. Yeah, right, it changes automatically like this. So in that case, when I go to charts, then I might be able to see more charts together. The more candles you can see on your phone at the same time, the better it is for you to take certain decisions. The more candles you can see on your phones or on your screen at the same time, the better decision the decision you would be able to take. All right, so I'll just take one more thing and we will end it here. So I'll stop this screen share now. I'll stop the screen share now. And right, very good. So the next thing we want to discuss as we round up is, I mentioned dynamic support and resistance. I'll be introducing you to 2 of them. Dynamic support and resistance. Where today we are just discussing support and resistance. And we said you can buy from a support and you can sell from a resistance, right? Buy from a support, sell from a resistance, right? And after a while, you begin to see it everywhere, right? After a while, you begin to see support and resistance everywhere. Just look at this, very sweet one. Price came, touched, bounced, and returned back from here. Remember, we said you must see two. Once you touch and bounce and was coming back, you can draw this. Okay, when it comes back here, I'm going to buy. Come there, I'm going to sell. When it breaks it to the downside, then you wait for it to come back to touch, reject, and now you are selling. You see, now these two bars are no longer needed. You are now seeing another type of trend here, right? You are now seeing another type of trend here. So when it bounces, it goes up, you buy, it goes back, you sell, you go. You are now seeing a different type. Then it came here, you are no longer seeing diagonal ones, you are now seeing horizontal ones, right? Then after you are done with that, you now went into another what? Diagonal one again. You see that? Buying, 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 right?
Hey, Lord.
So you can see that. But how would we know that this thing will continue to buy? That is what we're going to teach you by next week. But the reason why I'm doing all of this is that next week now, when I'm teaching, I won't be telling you support and risk. I'll just draw these two things. I assume that you already know what it means, right? I will assume you already know. So please take out time, go through the videos. I know we gave so many information within 2 days, but it's because we know you have 2 other days to look at everything. Now, I'll just give you, rather than giving you 2 dynamic support and resistance, I'll give you just 1 because we don't have the time, right? Now, believe it or not, you have heard of dynamic support and resistance before. We did it when we were taking our class, right? And they are moving averages. It's 1 dynamic support and resistance. And we'll be using it in the strategy we'll be learning, which is beat the market maker. In fact, in the beat the market maker strategy, we'll be learning how to use 5 moving averages simultaneously, as against 2 that you learned when we were having the introduction class. So let me round up by doing that. So I'm going to add indicators. I'm going to trend. I'm going to moving average. And I'm going to add a 50 moving average. I'll leave it as red. And I'll add another moving average. So those of you using your phone, you can easily do this, right? This one now, I'm giving you just 2, but I'm telling you that they are more powerful than the 2 you had before in the general class. So you insert another one again, trend. You go to moving average. And this time you can add something like 15 and make this one, let's say we'll make it aqua, and boom. Very good. You see the way I deleted all those things. Now, what this does is that when price, notice how price, let me squeeze it. Let me go to a higher time frame. Can you notice something here? See the way this blue one is coming. Notice how anytime price moves towards it, it runs back. Anytime price moves towards it, it runs back. It's serving as a what? A resistance. When price broke above it, notice that anytime price comes to it, it pushes back up. Anytime price comes to it, it pushes back up. It's serving as a dynamic support and resistance, right? It's serving as a dynamic support and resistance. Price is finding it difficult to break through it. And sometimes price will hug it. Around that time when price is hugging it, you are not taking any trade. You are waiting for when price will move away from it, right? These are dynamic support and resistance. So they are moving as price is moving, and you are taking your decision off them, right? Just like you learned in the general class, you can also use this to trade. It might not be as efficient as you want it to be, but you can use it to trade, and you assume that anytime price is under this aqua line, that the trend is bearish. And anytime price goes above the aqua line, that the trend is bullish. But how do you take the trade? That's a different kettle of fish. I'm just explaining support and resistance generally. So notice how it's hugging it. We can put in another currency pair. Let's look at Euro GBP here. See how price trades into it and runs back, trades into it and runs back, trades into it and runs back. And when it goes above it, it seems to be trading back to it and pushing. This dynamic support and resistance. Notice trade, run, trade, touches it, bounce back, touches it, bounce back. It seems to be pushing it away. So people use moving averages as a way to show dynamic support and resistance, right? So I believe we've been able to do justice to support and resistance. In total now, we've had about 4 ways, 4 support and resistance. You can't get this anywhere. Most people will just teach you the very first one I mentioned, ceiling and floor, and that is all. You pay heavily for it, right? So I'll give room for 2 or 3 questions. I will call it a wrap tonight. Thank you so much. Yeah, Solomon. Solomon, your question, you can mute yourself. Or you simply just type the question. Oh, okay, Mr. Michael. Who is speaking?
Hello, okay, sir. My question is.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you.
Okay, please, I need more explanation. In the normal physical markets,
yeah,
when the price is high, you want to sell. When the price is low, you want to buy. But
yeah,
the online market is opposite. So I don't understand.
No, please take your question again.
I said in the physical market,
yeah,
it's normal trading, physical one. When the price is low, you will want to buy. And when the price is high, you want to sell your products. But the online home is opposite. I don't know why.
No, it's not opposite. It's not opposite. It's the same thing.
Yes.
When the price is down, is low, you are buying.
Yes.
When the price is high, you are selling. That's what we do in the market.
Okay.
Forex.
Okay.
In online business, same thing. When the price is low, you know, but the question is this: what is low and what is high?
Okay, I think the low price is when the entrance price is higher. Is when the entrance price is. Hello, are you hearing me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I feel that the price is low when the entry price is lower than the closing price.
Okay, just listen off the mic. Just listen off the mic. For you to say something is expensive or something is cheap, you must have a reference point. Expensive compared to what? Cheap compared to what? If I come to you now and sell, and I give you a Motorola or Nokia 3310 or Samsung R220, and I give it to you, and I say the cost is 60,000, you would tell me that it is expensive. Why? You are comparing it to the price you used to know, or you are comparing it with the cost of an Android phone, which of course does more things than that 2G phone, right? Now, so if you're talking about expensive or cheap, there has to be a reference point. Now, in online business, I'm using Euro USD as an example. When you say you are buying Euro USD, it means you are buying Euro. But for you to buy Euro, you have USD. So you are buying Euro, but you are selling Euro USD. You are selling USD. meaning that you have your USD, you are using it to buy your euro. That's what it means to buy. When you now want to get out of the market, what will you be doing? You'll be selling. What will you be selling now? You'll be selling your euro USD. You'll be selling your euro to collect back USD. Right? You'll be selling your euro so that I can collect back your USD. Okay. I know this part is usually confusing. I'll give you a simple example. If you have 300,000 naira with you now, you have 300,000 naira with you, and $1 is equal to 300 naira now, and you have an information that by next week Monday, $1 will go for 400 naira. What will you do now? You will go to anywhere, a bureau de change, and exchange your naira for dollar. Is that also? It means you buy dollar, but you are using your naira to buy the dollar. The name of your currency will be dollar naira. Dollar naira. You are buying dollar, but you are using naira to buy it. So when we say you're buying euro USD, you're only buying only one currency. You are selling the other one. Now, for you to be able to buy dollar naira, there must be somebody that is willing to buy the naira from you at that exchange rate. I don't know if I'm making sense. Now, by next week Monday, when you discover that this thing is now 400, you now take your dollar back to the market and now sell your dollar back. You do the opposite of your initial transaction. The initial transaction was naira to dollar. On Monday, you will now sell your dollar back to naira and now get your 400 naira, 400,000, and you now have a profit of 100,000. Do you get the illustration? So why did I give that illustration? As at the time you are selling your naira for dollar, somebody somewhere felt it was a good bargain and bought it from you. By the time you are going back to sell dollar for naira, somebody else too is thinking that it is a good bargain and the person is buying it from you. Everybody knows that we are supposed to buy cheap and sell high. But somebody in the world felt that 300 was a good bargain. And now somebody else again in the world is thinking that 400 is a good bargain. I don't know if you're getting my point now. So when you say sell high, buy low, is a complex term that we'll explain by next week, because what you think is low, somebody else think it is high. And what you think is high, somebody else think it is low, right? So we'll not bug ourselves with all of that, just to explain the difference. Concerning the moving averages, how do we know what periods to use? That is why you're in a professional class. We'll give you a period that has been back tested. We'll give you certain period. There's a strategy called BTMM. It has been used for more than 20 years, right? So we'll give you that information when the time comes, right? So I believe I've answered most of the question, and I believe we have not wasted our time today.
There's a hand there.
Okay.
Can we just take the hand?
All right, sir. Mr. Afolabi Isaiah.
Good.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you, sir.
I missed the class. Please, I will be expecting the video in our group chat.
Don't worry, you
the
get
question
the
I want to ask, okay, the question I want to ask is, when we're talking about this, all this government candle, Harris or police.
Yes.
Now, I really suppose to say, before you can say that a candle is engulf another candle, it must be maybe 2 times the candle it engulfs. I will need a clarification about that. You know, some candle will engulf another candle, it will not be the length of that, but the body of the candle that engulf the other one. The way we have clarification of maybe the size. Some people say it will be 2 times the body of the other one it engulfs, or the 3 times. Well, you can say it is engulfing candle.
I love that
Yes.
question. And the way I see it's like you've been in Forex for a while, have you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can see from the
Almost
question.
10 years.
I can see from the question. Right. So that strategy or that concept that I gave to you, we don't just go around using it randomly. We don't just come here and start using it randomly. We use them at peaks. At certain points we call potential price reversal zones, PPRS, potential price reversal zones. That is when we use those things. And the way we use them, we don't use them simply because they are outside. Look at this one, this candle here. Let me magnify a little. Look at this one here. This candle engulfed this, right? The bearish candle engulfed the bullish candle.
Yes.
But that is not enough reason for me to just mark up this zone like this. There has to be a reason why I'm marking up this zone. There has to be a reason. I'll be telling you the reason later on. Look at another one again. Here we have another candle engulfing this. There has to be another reason why I'm using this candle.
This one.
Now, but I'll show you the example you just said now, or the question you just asked. Okay. Let's look for one that meets the question you just asked. Now, okay, very good. Look at this one. This bearish candle engulfed this bullish candle. I can't just say because I see a bearish candle engulf a bullish candle, then I should zone it. No, there are certain things you need to see before zoning out. Now, this example you gave here, you know, at a point in time, when you train your eyes, you cannot unsee it. Once you start seeing it, you cannot unsee it. It becomes difficult. So I'm finding it difficult to even find an engulfing candle that doesn't meet the criteria that I want to give. But this other two that I drew by my eye, you can see that when price came back to the bottom of that bullish candle, right? It just wicked into it and dropped. Can you see that? Can you see the way I chose this one? There is something I saw that made me choose it, right? If time permits in this class, we will explain it. Even though this is not a strategy for this class, we are teaching something else. Look at this one too that I engulfed. Do you notice that how price went into it and dropped too?
Yes.
There is something I saw that made me pick this one as an engulfing candle. I won't just go in between and be picking engulfing candles. There are certain things you need to see before you say a candle is engulfing, right?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This class is getting longer. What other things we need to look out for to take a trade apart from technical aspect? We will explain that next week. Let's not be in a hurry. Now we are just explaining the terms we'll be using. By next week now, we will now go into how to trade. By Tuesday or thereabout, I think we'll be looking at how to trade, right? So we have you have this timetable already. Today we looked at support and resistance and possible reversal points. We'll be looking at reversal patterns, continuation patterns, candlesticks, forex indicators. We'll do all that. We'll have the BTMM there. So don't worry, they'll all be covered. Thank you so much. It's already 18 minutes past 10. We've gone beyond that 1 hour.